Good morning to everyone. Let me first thank the chairman of Ahmedabad branch, Nirav Bhai. Nirav Bhai, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Let me also thank Purushottam Bhai for coming here to welcome all of us. Purushottam Bhai is like the most loved and I think most grounded in all the Central Council member and a very dear friend. Purushottam Bhai, thank you for all the good work that you do. I remember about 3 weeks back, I was in Ahmedabad for some work and I just dropped in a message to the chairman and he called up and we met at the branch. And then he said, like, when are you coming to speak on Internoid? And I said, we can plan half day, full day. Immediately he gave a date and we planned this whole program. And I think the idea was like to try and get as many people as possible, possibly from industry and from Ahmedabad. So I think only the first and the last speaker is from outside, otherwise everyone else is Ahmedabad based. And I'm sure you will love the program. Before I start, let me also welcome and thank Rahul Punya. He is moderating the first session. CA Raviraj Karya, Chief Audit Executive of Intas Pharma, and my dear friend Mukesh Gadge. And I welcome all of you. Okay. So, about I think 1.5 hours or 1 hour 20 minutes to 11:30. There is a lot of content. Slides are also very busy, but we'll try to speak as much as possible. What we are trying to do is today, trying to understand internal audit, what does it mean today, and also try to find out what are the various opportunities for internal audit. Okay, and I'm trying to run it through the mode of auditing standards, the SIS, Standard on Internal Audit. So we also cover like what is there in the standard as of today. Before I start, how many from industry? If you can raise your hand. Okay, so a few. And how many who are in internal audit? Practicing as well as, okay. Fine. So there is a lot more larger hands means people are practicing as well. So we'll cover from both the sides, in-house internal audit function and outside internal audit. But again, people who are from internal audit will have to have a little patience with me because I think that is about 30% if people have raised hands properly. So 60-70% are people who don't do internal audit. And possibly they will come here to ensure what is in it. So we'll go a little slow also, we'll go a little down also, and then we'll come up quickly. We'll raise the speed also at the right time. Okay. So like Purushottam Bhai said, everyone knows about the Auditing and Assurance Standard Board of ICAI. The Auditing and Assurance Standard Board comes up with the accounting standard, the auditing standard, the guidance, the technical material. Similarly, Institute has formed the Internal Audit Standards Board. And the Internal Audit Standard Board comes up with all the guidance and standards relating to internal audit. As of today, the whole purpose is to bring a standardization. But you know, if you are in like large companies in internal audit function, people who are doing internal audit are MBAs also, engineers also. And many places they head the function as well. And in our offices also we have got a variety of people. So how do you manage the non-chartered accountant? So that is the whole challenge as of today. Until these gets notified under the Companies Act or whatever, that everyone will have to comply, or a certain category of company will have to comply. So as of today, these are recommendatory, these are not notified by the council, but a good material for a matured organization to follow. As of today, there are 19 of them, but 16 more standards were released by ICAI. And normally the whole standard setting process is, they have a team, they appoint people from various walks of life, they sit together, they draft the standard, then the standard goes to the Central Council or through the Internal Audit Standards Board. After they review it, they place it in the public domain for our comments. Okay. Did any of us comment on the last 16 standards which were there in the public domain a month back? No. So, and then it goes again to the council, to the board, and then it gets approved and it becomes a standard. So 16 of them are coming. I'll touch upon those also as I progress ahead. Again, a little busy slide, but overall this is what it is. There is a definition of internal audit which you can read here. The basic foundation is a code of ethics, and then there are 4 pillars, basic principles which we call upon. Okay, these are the principles and we'll talk about them in detail. Key concepts which we are talking about, but we'll cover all the standards there. Then there are multiple other standards and then there is guidance note, and like I said, 19 of them. I'll just want to look at the slide on the definition. Internal audit provides independent assurance, which means in an in-house internal audit function, again report to the audit committee. The appointment of the CA should also happen by the audit committee and the scope should be approved. And while you are a CA firm and going and doing internal audit assignment, then again, I would suggest that you get the audit plan placed before the board audit committee, get it approved by them, and then get an engagement letter signed, and then you start your work. It talks about internal control and risk management, which we'll cover, and the governance, but again, everything should be in the direction of ensuring that the organization attains its objectives. Okay, I don't want to bore you with a lot of stuff, but as we go ahead, we'll cover. Independence, you know, assuming in your company, you were part of the finance function, and then all of a sudden you moved to become an audit head. Will you be able to immediately go and audit the finance functions? The answer is no. If you written a policy procedure, will you be able to go and see whether those policies and procedures are correct? The answer is no. And hence stay away from the operating function. That is what the standard in a way says. If I am a CA firm and I am going and doing audit of a company, and in that company, my wife is either a IT head or a CFO, will I be independent? Will I be able to give all the observations properly in the report? The answer is no. If I am reporting to the CFO, will I be able to find out or write observations against him? Possibly the answer is no. That is what is independence. Integrity, objectivity is like, don't go out with a mind that there is something wrong. Don't go out to target someone, and don't go out with an intention that itne observations nikal lunga. Okay. Due professional care applicable to everyone, tax audits, society, like your company audits, etc. When you take the data, is the data complete? You ask your client, give me the data. The client will remove certain items, line items, and then give you a data, and you start punching and you make a report. Have you applied your due professional care? That is the question. The cutoff procedures which you do, you tell your client, give me access, I'll download. You go and sit and download yourself and transfer it on a mail to your computer and then start. Next one is very, very important. In a company, if you're doing audit, for a HR function, it says then give it to only HR. If there is an observation relating to a finance or something, give to that guy. But do not go and keep on circulating your report to everyone, and don't keep on going and talking on a cup of coffee with everyone. Ki ye report mein ye nikla, ye report mein nikla. Even if you are in-house function or if you are an outside CA firm. So need to know basis only to those people who are going to make any changes or implement something, only to those. Confidentiality is important. Skills and competence we'll talk about. Chief, like Purushottam Bhai said, CIA, you can do from ICAI, you can do internationally from IIA. IT qualification you should obtain if you want to do IT audit, DISA, CISA, etc. and a lot others. But there is a lot of focus on technology. Excel, macros, SQL, R, Tableau, Python. You need to learn, you need to do analytics, and there is a standard on analytics as well. Risk-based audit, again it says, in your organization what is high priority, and spend your time or focus on that. Here again, the focus in the organization should be not on people, it should be on the processes. That is what it says. Internal auditors should stay away from decision making. That is what it says. If there are multiple stakeholders, don't keep on distributing to everyone. Maintain that sensitivity. And of course, there is a standard on quality and continuous improvement. So 100 is a key concept. 200 is the IA management before you start your audit. 300 to 400 is when you are doing a process audit. Those are the standards. 500 are like two specialized areas right now, and 600 is quality control. Like there is an SQC1 in statutory audit. In SS, there is a SQC which is coming here also. In the new draft standard it is there. 19 are here, 16 new have been given. Okay, when we do a company audit, what is the type of report that we issue? What is the assurance that we give? Any answer quickly? In a company audit, what is the assurance that we give? True and fair, very good. And in a tax audit, what do we give? Sorry? In a tax audit, we are giving a certificate in a way when you are saying TDS and you are looking at all 12 months, you are giving a complete assurance or a true and correct view, okay, in a way. What is an internal audit report? Is it true and correct? Is it true and fair? What is it? Any idea? Okay. But like say, if I have done a procurement audit, will I be able to say कि प्रोक्योरमेंट ऑडिट कर दिया तो कोई भी अभी गड़बड़ नहीं है, कोई हाई वैल्यू परचेस नहीं है, कोई एक्स्ट्रा परचेस नहीं है, कोई सब स्टैंडर्ड मटेरियल नहीं है, कोई फ्रॉड नहीं है? विल आई बी एबल टू गिव दैट अश्योरेंस? No. So someone says reasonable assurance. Very good. Okay. So there was no standard on what is your report. Can you do an observation rating? Can you do a report rating? Can you say like this process is good, bad, ugly? Can you say that I have done audit and there is nothing? See, when you look at the newspaper, when you look at the WhatsApp factory, कोई भी कंपनी में किधर भी कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ तो सबसे पहला इंटरनल ऑडिटर क्या कर रहा था? और सबसे पहला इजी टारगेट है इंटरनल ऑडिटर को जेल में डालो, फिर स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर को डालो, राइट? इन हाउस हो या आउटसाइड हो. बट एम आई गिविंग? दे वांट 100% assurance. They want me to say that there is nothing wrong here. Okay, can I do that? The answer is no. The question is, am I a bloodhound or am I a watchdog? Can't hear. Watchdog, right? I am not a bloodhound. I am not going to go and do investigation. And that is where now this standard has come, which is the nature of assurance 110. This standard talks about there should be three things. There should be a three-party, there should be key elements, and there should be a written report. This is important. The subject matter should be identifiable, measurable against the criteria and evidenced. स्टैंडर्ड मैंने 5-6 बार पढ़ा, मेरे को समझा नहीं, स्लाइड पे कुछ डाला है, समझना मुश्किल है. बट लेट मी टॉक अबाउट वन एग्जांपल. PLI scheme, you know, production link incentive scheme. Now the company is going to put up a factory 1,000 crore rupees. They will get PLI benefit. The regulator has already released 300 crores. The regulator says कि एक independent internal audit का report लाके दो कि जो 300 करोड़ रिलीज हुआ ये पूरा आना पाई वो फैक्ट्री लगाने में गया, ना कि वो घर पे लेके जाके मर्सिडीज गाड़ी ले ली है. So then there is a subject matter. The money which was given is used for that purpose or not. That subject matter is identifiable, it is measurable, every pie, and it can be evidenced by way of purchase requisition order, GRN, etc. If that is the case, then you go there. Second element I have covered, subject matter, predefined criteria, conclusive outcome. There should be a written report, and there should be three-party. The organization appoints me, a blue star. I am the auditor, and the report will go to the regulator, PLI. Okay? In those cases only, you can refer 110 nature of assurance. Now, nature of assurance can be given in two ways. Either a reasonable assurance on the whole process or absolute assurance on part of the process. मतलब अगर कोई ये बोलता है कि पूरा वेंडर मास्टर उठा के पूरा 100% चेक करो और बोलो कि हर एक वेंडर का पैन नंबर कैप्चर्ड है क्या, GST कैप्चर्ड है क्या, ये कैप्चर्ड है क्या, and you are giving 100% assurance on a part of the process, then you can use this, or otherwise you can use the other one. In various forms, while you are looking at accounting standard compliance, while you are looking at the framework of COSO compliance, that are the things where you will be able to do this and you will be able to give this. The standard is good, you can read that. As I go ahead, 120, 30, 40 and 50, control, risk, governance and laws and regulation. Definitions है और उसके बाद आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. तो I don't want to make it so boring. नहीं तो क्या है, स्टैंडर्ड बताते रहूँगा, बात करते रहूँगा तो आप लोग भी सोने लगेंगे तो मज़ा नहीं आएगा. So now let us come to one practical example. What is risk, what is control, what is governance and what is the entity level control? अगर ये जानना है तो समझो, assuming a organization approaches you and tells you कि do a HR audit. I am telling you do a HR audit. क्या क्या करोगे, किधर से चालू आएगा, please. I can bring the mic to you. कोई माइक लेके वो बाजू जा सकता है? वो देखो पीछे वो हाथ बता रहे, उनको एक माइक देंगे. If you can please stand up and tell us also, that will be nice. Anyone, HR audit में क्या करेंगे?
सर सबसे पहले तो उनका इंटरनल प्रोसेस क्या है, व्हाटएवर द एसओपीज आर इन प्लेस वी विल आस्क फॉर दैट.
एक माइक वो बाजू देना. So he is saying SOPs are in place or not. Tell me a little more about the SOPs.
There are site defined procedures and control that are already in place. We will ask for that. We will prepare a checklist for the risk which are there in the HR processes, right from the attendance to the F&F.
Very good.
And based on that, we will roll out the data requirement, and accordingly we will whether the risk for the risk there is a controls.
So look at the policy procedure, make a checklist, understand the process, and then say what is required to be done. Piche. He said risk. What are the risk in HR?
See, like adding to what he said, basically like from the start point of view, you should obtain the organization's total like budgets, headcount budget, financial budget. From SOP perspective, what is the SOP for the talent acquisition? HR operations means payroll processing, and what are the checks, balances and controls established. Segregation of duties in many activities like maybe interview procedures to the onboarding, then payroll processing. And talent is also one of the criteria to retain, to evaluate the performance of the people and appraise. And last part is the separation part. That is also very critical because you are leaving one of the asset outside. So they should go with the proper image of the organization without any like grudge on the process part. So broadly these are the key areas one should focus throughout the time. HR budget, HR headcount budget.
Excellent.
Thanks.
What do you mean by segregation of duty in one word or quickly?
Quickly, like in one example, like I can quote, like if I am going to hire somebody, then there has to be like two people, like one HR person who is independently giving me the CVs and perspective about the candidate, another person from my team or from other team who is also interviewing the candidate, so that I am not hiring somebody who is like known and keen to me to the organization.
So the risk is, अगर ये खुद ही हायर करेंगे तो ये अपने रिलेटिव को हायर कर लेंगे जो वो पर्पस के लिए फिट है या नहीं. हो सकता है कि उसको 5 लाख देना चाहिए, ये 25 लाख में हायर कर देंगे. इसके लिए क्या होना चाहिए कि लाइक HR वाला ये JD देंगे, जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन. देन HR will for that job description identify CVs. Then someone will select that. Then someone will give it to him, and then he will go and go and hire. Okay, and someone else will give an appointment letter. He will only interview, someone else in his team will interview, and then there will be objective assessment कि हाँ 2 जन ने बोला है तो ये रिसोर्स अच्छा हो सकता है. Okay, anyone else? I am coming to you. Anyone else in the meanwhile? Yes.
It would include the hire to retire cycle actually.
Complete hire to retire cycle. Yes.
In fact, what the gentleman said, in fact, one critical part which an internal auditor also looks at is when you look at talent, you have to even look at your COSO framework also, wherein the ERM first part refers to whether your structure is right. So are you able to attract the right talent which is there? And this even goes to the concept of what culture you are building up, because everything else goes nuts if you are
not
at
the top, right entity level control. Okay, yes. Very good.
So accordingly, when you actually get into the space, I'll just add up to something which you mentioned, that today the background verification checks have also become equally important in the whole scheme of things which are there. So when you look at it, if you get the right hires, it goes to the next part which comes up very critical right now, and where internal audits are asked to contribute a lot, is even the incentive plans which are there. Because a large part of the salary today is actually by virtue of incentives which are there. And how the incentive schemes are structured is also driving the organization performance. So that is where the internal auditor becomes more valuable from that and just not value add for that.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Thanks to all three of you for your inputs. I am still like wanting to know risk. उधर पीछे देना एक लास्ट में. रिस्क क्या है? क्या क्या गलत हो सकता है अगर HR का पूरा प्रोसेस सही तरीके से डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं किया या इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं किया या काम नहीं किया, तो व्हाट कैन गो रॉन्ग? घोस्ट एम्प्लॉइज, मतलब 10 आदमी काम कर रहा है तो 12 का पगार जा रहा है, जो सत्यम में हुआ. वेरी गुड. और क्या रिस्क है? आगे दो, risk,
Short payment also.
non-payment, non-compliance to PF, gratuity, ये वो, non-compliance of regulation, that is a risk. Yes.
Right, sir. So we can list out, the sub processes why a lot of risk into it.
I'm
But
coming to you in a minute.
basic idea of understanding risk, the question that you rightly ask is that, what is the risk in HR? To understand that, my philosophy, I would say that, the right way is to understand the objective of that specific function. Like, so HR, human resource is a function as a process. So one need to understand, what are the objectives of an HR or a human resource function as a whole. Then I think more or less we'll be able to understand what are the risks. So like in a normal organization, if we say HR, the basic purpose of an HR or the objectives or the, the key responsible areas or the criteria for an HR function would be to ensure that, we have a right talent, right kind of a talent, and at the right cost they are available into it, and ensure that the cultures and everything is maintained into the organizations. Plus trainings and all are very important aspects into it to ensure that once a person is on board, they are being a right kind of a career growths, and they are being taken into the kind of a various trainings and etc. to ensure the future requirements of the organization. So these are the broad objectives. Now anything which objects or which again creates an hindrance to kind of in this achievement of this objective is a risk for that specific organizations into it. In
Very
nutshell.
good, very good. Thank you. Yes, please. I am coming to you, sir, in a minute. Throw a little louder.
The main thing what my colleague has already discussed, that is mostly about the entity control. I'll more focus on the process level control.
हमको समझा नहीं एंटिटी कंट्रोल क्या है. आप थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा बोल सकते हैं. What do you mean by entity level control? What do you mean? एक दो एग्जाम्पल दे दो एंटिटी लेवल कंट्रोल का. आई एम कमिंग टू यू सर इन अ मिनट. Yes, you please continue.
Establishing the SOPs and implementation of the same,
Very
validation of the same.
Very good, excellent. Yes, sir.
In the number of cases, sir, who is processed the salary, he can increase the salary also in number of cases.
Very good.
And number of times company outsource the HR process outside. Or in this case, I review such type of cases.
तो सर का नाम नहीं लेता हूँ. ये मेरे दोस्त है. क्या नाम है आपका? विराग. तो विराग and I work in the same organization. Okay. Virag actually is in the finance team. Sorry, Virag, I am taking because you are on the first seat. So Virag is processing the payroll at the month end. Attendance का एक एक्सेल फाइल विराग के पास आता है. उसमें मेरा अटेंडेंस 15 दिन है. मैं विराग को बोलता हूँ, विराग भाई 25 कर दे यार, जो भी पैसा एक्स्ट्रा आएगा बांट लेंगे. तो विराग गया, 15 का क्या किया? 25. 25 days I got paid, which means I got extra paid for 10 days. The risk is getting paid for more number of days than you worked, getting paid for more number of overtime hours than you done. These are all risks. 10 people are there, 20 people ka salary is getting processed. Ghost employees, that is what is the risk. Now in this case, Virag, what will be the control? ये control क्या होना चाहिए? इन्होंने मेकर और चेकर बोला, आपके ही हाथ में नहीं होना चाहिए, तो कैसे होएगा? Sorry, yes please. Attendance capturing machine, okay? अटेंडेंस कैसे कैसे कैप्चर होता है? अभी तो मैनुअल रजिस्टर तो है नहीं.
पंचिंग मशीन.
अच्छा, तो बायोमेट्रिक्स या गेट या जो भी है वो. वेरी गुड. फिर अटेंडेंस लेकिन कैप्चर तो हो गया बॉस. अच्छा, आपने बोला पंचिंग मशीन. कितने लोग ऑफिस ही नहीं जाते? बोला आज इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट जाने वाला हूँ. कैसे कैप्चर करेगा? सेल्स वाले लोग रोज फील्ड पे रहते, कैसे कैप्चर करेगा? व्हाट इज द कंट्रोल देयर? Outdoor duty. So in some portal there is an outdoor duty where you will put and the manager will go and approve. Excellent. Again he said maker and checker control. So someone will put, manager will approve. That is a maker and a checker. Okay.
Basically, sir, in case of sales employees who are working on fields, there is a software called Field Force. Something.
Field Force, outdoor duty.
Where you can manage the attendance part.
Very good. I'll need that mic here. Yes. थोड़ा सा वो mic एक वापस इधर दे देना. हाँ, आप बोलिए ना please. I can listen to you. I'll relay to everyone.
See, another aspect, like in many of the HR audits.
Thank you.
See, another perspective since last 2-3 years in with respect to HR audits and for the intern auditor, we are exposed to huge data. And from the HR perspective, the company is having high responsibilities under DPDP Act, because you are collecting, gathering and processing critical information about the employees like their PAN, Aadhaar, their residence, their families, belongings, many other things. So recently, like the focus is now utmost required by the internal auditors that how the HR as well as company as such obtaining, possessing and processing the HR like employee data, and also the another part like you must have heard about the moonlighting. So that is also very critical things coming up nowadays in internal audit trends, that how to evaluate, how to fetch that information, that how the employees engage outside the organization even after having the contract with the organization. So there are ways and means to fetch that also, but these are like two things from internal audit perspective which is critical nowadays for in the HR and from risk point of view.
Excellent. Thank you. So I thank all of you. I think valuable and very good inputs. Now खाली मेरे पास 2 मिनट ध्यान दीजिए, मोबाइल में मत देखिए, 2 मिनट के लिए इतना डिस्कशन किया है उसको समराइज करते हैं. See, when you talk about audit universe, in a company you can do complete end-to-end HR audit. बट अगर छोटा कंपनी है, 50 एम्प्लॉई है, तो HR ऑडिट 2 महीने में हो जाएगा. और अगर किधर 5,000 या 10,000 एम्प्लॉई है तो वो HR ऑडिट करने में 6 महीना लग सकता है. ठीक है. तो जनरली डिपेंडिंग ऑन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, सम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ब्रेक द HR इनटू स्मॉल स्मॉल पीसेस, एंड वन पीस कुड बी एम्प्लॉई रिक्रूटमेंट. द सेकेंड पीस कुड बी रिक्रूटमेंट के अंदर क्या आएगा कि कंपनी का बजट कितना है, कौन से डिपार्टमेंट में कितने लोग हायर करने हैं, ये साल में कितने हायर करने हैं, फिर जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन है या नहीं, जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन निकाल के कोई HR में रिक्रूटमेंट टीम को भेजा है क्या, वो CV निकालता है क्या, देन फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ इंटरव्यू कोई करता है क्या, सेकेंड लाइन ऑफ इंटरव्यू कोई करता है क्या, एंड देन जाके उसको ऑफर लेटर दिया जाता है या नहीं. ये रिक्रूटमेंट हुआ. लेकिन रिक्रूटमेंट में व्हाट इज द रिस्क? द रिस्क इज आई एम द रिक्रूटर एंड रविराज इज अ वेरी डियर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन. मैंने क्या किया मालूम है, नौकरी से डाउनलोड किया, नौकरी का सब्सक्रिप्शन कंपनी ने पे किया है, और जैसे CV निकाला वो बंदा अच्छा लगा, हायर किया. मैंने बोला कि इनकी कंपनी के थ्रू आया था, ये मेरे रिक्रूटमेंट कंसल्टेंट है, और इनको मैंने 12% या 8.33% दे दिया, इन्होंने बिल रेज किया, एंड देन आई टेक मनी 50% ऑफ कैश फ्रॉम हिम. नाउ द कंट्रोल कुड बी द मोमेंट ऑफ CV कम्स टू HR, दे नीड टू पुट इनटू अ ट्रैकर कि वेयर डिड इट कम फ्रॉम. ओके. Controls will keep on changing. Are you understanding what is the risk, what is the control? Now, again, the second thing is, recruitment sources could be Naukri.com, referral from employees, advertisement somewhere, okay, or through a recruiting agency. There will be multiple sources. कोई recruitment agency को 10% दे रहे, किसी को 8% दे रहे, तो इसको 10 क्यों दे रहे भाई? That will also come out. Multiple of these. Is there a job description that I want a newly qualified CA? Are you hiring a CA with 2 years instead of a newly qualified? अच्छा, कोई newly qualified है, राहुल का दोस्त है, तो इसने 10 लाख दे दिया, और मैंने CV दिया तो उसको 9 लाख दिया, चलेगा क्या? तो there should be a table कि a CA with newly qualified CA will be 9 lakhs, a CA with 1 year will be 10 to 12 lakhs, a CA with 2 years will be so and so. The designation will be consultant 1, consultant 2. A table has to be there. That table in the company, if everyone follows, is called the entity level control. Okay, अगर अप्राइजल है, इनका दोस्त है कोई, इनकी टीम में अच्छा बंदा है, तो उसको ये अच्छा अप्राइजल दे देंगे 5 रेटिंग, और जो अच्छा नहीं काम कर रहा है या इनको अच्छा नहीं लगता है उसको 1 रेटिंग दे देंगे. चलेगा क्या? नहीं. तो then there should be an employee rating, there should be a manager rating, then should the department head should discuss with both of them, and then every 3 rating in the company should get 8.33% raise, 4 rating should get 10% raise. ऐसा नहीं कि 4 रेटिंग है, किसी को 10% इंक्रीज मिल रहा है, किसी को 12 मिल रहा है. Sorry. These are all entity level controls. So, I touched upon one aspect of it, that is the recruitment. Then there is reward and recognition. कितना सैलरी, कितना बोनस, सबको सेम मिल रहा है कि नहीं, अप्राइजल प्रोसेस क्या है. Then there is employee learning and development. In your company, how many hours they need to go through the training? कौन सा ट्रेनिंग, सेल्स वाला सेल्स का कर रहा है कि नहीं, फाइनेंस वाला फाइनेंस का ट्रेनिंग कर रहा है कि नहीं. Then there is employee health safety well-being. फैक्ट्री में काम कर रहा है तो वो ग्लासेस पहनता है या नहीं, गमबूट पहनता है या नहीं है, वेल्डिंग कर रहा है तो चश्मा पहनता है कि नहीं पहनता है. अगर बिल्डिंग रियल एस्टेट कंस्ट्रक्शन है और बाहर से काम करने के लिए उतर रहा है तो शाफ्ट बांध के जाता है या नहीं, he wears a helmet or not, if he falls down from the site he will lose his life possibly and it will be a big reputation risk, it can be in the paper. Is it not a risk? The control is you are giving equipment, but the whole thing is again you will have to keep on monitoring whether they are wearing it or not. The one is the process and the second is monitoring of the implementation of the process. Learning and development, and the last one we talked about was payroll. Manual attendance, biometrics, whatever. Now, we talked about a file. WIRC making changes. Should the file not go from the attendance system to the payroll system directly? Now, my dear friend talked about all the PAN number and all of those. See, when I talk about compliances to regulation, while I am doing payroll audit, I will see whether TDS was correctly deducted or not, whether PF, ESIC deducted or not, paid on time or not. Now, if within the HR, if there are contract employees, what happens is your contractor gives you housekeeping guys, security guys, etc. He has to pay PF and ESIC. अगर वो नहीं भरेगा तो you are the principal contractor, you need to pay. हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम अपने क्लाइंट्स को बोलते हैं कि भाई अगले महीने के बिल के साथ में पिछले महीने का चालान ले लेना. वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर स्मार्ट है, 20 आदमी ICAI को दे रहे हैं, 20 इंटास को दे रहे हैं, 20 अडानी को दे रहे हैं. 60 लोग हैं, 20 का ही चालान पे कर रहे हैं, सबको सेम चालान चिटका रहे हैं और हम लोग रद्दी जमा करके खुश है. See, this was a very good control till now, but today there is a better control available. What I do is, I say that in my client premises, who are the people, what is their name, what is their EPFO number, and map it with the EPFO database to see कि उसके अकाउंट में PF जमा हुआ है या नहीं है महीने में. And this you can do at scale because API is available. My friend talked about some other APIs. While doing HR audit, contract में लिखा है कि employee should not be doing parallel business, right? Now, in your client case, you want to find out whether your employee is doing a parallel business. Take PAN number, map with the GSTN database. आपको GSTN number मिल जाएगा, nature of business मिल जाएगा, turnover मिलेगा. वो GSTN को vendor master में map करो, तो आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कि एम्प्लॉई का कंपनी आपका वेंडर है और कितने में बेच रहा है. उसका बिल निकालो, रेट निकालो, मार्केट रेट चेक करो और फिर देखो कि वो हाई रेट में बेच रहा है क्या, तो देयर इज अ फ्रॉड. खाली ग्रीन टिक मारने से कुछ नहीं होएगा बॉस. लिया बिल, मारा, ग्रीन टिक हो गया, खुश, दिया रिपोर्ट, क्लाइंट विल नॉट बी हैप्पी. यू आर नॉट एडिंग वैल्यू. यू विल हैव टू गो अ स्टेप अहेड. यू विल हैव टू डू लॉट मोर वर्क. Internal audit is about precision and penetration. You will have to dig deeper. I can take the PAN number, map it with the DIN database. डायरेक्टर है या नहीं, डिन मिल गया तो कंपनी का सिन मिल जाता है, सिन मिल गया तो वो कंपनी में दूसरा डिन कौन है मिलता है, डिन मिल गया तो उसमें से पैन निकाल के आई कैन पुल आउट द GSTN नंबर एंड मैप विद द वेंडर मास्टर. ओके, इन वन ऑफ माय क्लाइंट केसेस, ट्रांसपोर्टर्स बिल, massive number of like one transporter 18 lakh rupees per month bill. We took all vehicle number mapped with the Parivahan portal. और मालूम पड़ा 4 टन का ट्रक का 1 लाख रुपए रेंट लगाया, लेकिन एक्चुअली दैट व्हीकल नंबर वाज 1 ton ट्रक और 3-wheeler टेम्पो. 4.5 lakh rupees recovered from the vendor in 1 month. So many organizations are now moving ahead and saying, is internal audit a revenue center? Are they adding revenue? Are they reducing costs? Are they bringing efficiency? Are they adding value? We'll have to move ahead. We'll have to add value. Then only we'll get respect. I just wanted to cover the 4 standards. I think I have covered it. If you don't like anything on the slide, then you can ask me. But let me go ahead. 120, I'm coming to you in a minute. एक ही मिनट में आया. 120 is controls. Controls के बारे में हमने बात कर लिया. Maker और checker. Okay. Delegation of authority metrics. We'll talk about that a little more. Preventive and detective. A security guy standing is preventive or detective? Preventive. A camera capturing something is detective or preventive? Both, in a way. Okay. So there are multiple of these controls which will keep on coming. Those controls, this will be important when you go to the internal control or financial reporting, लेकिन उस पे आते हैं. Board पे responsibility है, audit committee पे responsibility है, large organization wants you to come and look at all of these. Let me cover this slide, but it will not make sense now, but we'll talk about this a little later. The India version is internal control over financial reporting. Only finance impacting areas to be checked, operating areas not to be checked, while you are doing a statutory audit and giving a report. Matlab payroll is directly impacting financial statement, you will have to cover. Employee health, safety, well-being may not have a direct impact on P&L, maybe that is an operating control you can exclude. If you add the other operating controls, it becomes an internal financial control. If you add entity level controls, like I said, whistleblowing tool, कि किधर कुछ हो रहा है क्या गड़बड़, complaints, fraud governance framework, कुछ हो रहा है क्या, that can come. Similarly, everyone is getting for a 3 rating same increase or not. These are all entity level controls. You add that, everything becomes a control environment for the company. Process controls, you also add the IT controls, it becomes a control environment system in the company. थोड़ा सा busy slide है, difficult है, थोड़े देर में बात करेंगे. Risk management I have talked about. Again, identify the risk, assess, monitor, prioritize, minimize, and report. The whole enterprise risk management is applicable to certain categories of companies. There are tools available which you can go and sell. You can implement the whole ERM for an organization. An ERM implementation for a decent sized organization will be minimum 20 lakhs to a crore rupees fees. We wanted to talk about opportunities. We'll touch upon all of those. If you want, we can even request the chairman to conduct a 2 hours on ERM fully, 2 hours on internal control fully. Okay, so we can go in more detail. But again, here it was. When we go to governance, governance means everything. Writing a policy procedure is governance. Delegation of authority metrics is governance. Remuneration committee, sexual harassment committee, board audit committee, who can be an independent director. Everything is governance. MIS and reporting is again governance. Reporting or filing to multiple stakeholders. It helps in preventing undue concentration of power. In a company, who can raise a PO of how much? The junior most accountant possibly 10 lakh rupees. His team manager maybe 25 lakh rupees. The department head could be 5 lakh rupees and the board could be 5 crore rupees. Depends. Every company will have a separate DOA. But why is a DOA required? After someone raises a PO, goes to his boss for approval, the segregation of duty, maker and checker control. Why is it required? To avoid concentration of power. So mission and vision, code of conduct, proper communication, governing bodies, structure, organization, design, delegation of authority, everything is governance. There is enough and more work. इंडिया में बहुत सारा स्टार्टअप्स है. स्टार्टअप्स को जब भी वीसी फंडिंग के लिए जाना है तो वीसी वेंचर कैपिटल फंड या पीई फंड पहले पूछता है कि पॉलिसी प्रोसीजर है या नहीं है. पॉलिसी प्रोसीजर लिखने के लिए यू कैन चार्ज एनीवेयर फ्रॉम 10 lakhs to 40 lakhs or 1 crore rupees. Making a delegation of authority metrics, you can charge money. Similarly, for everything, you can charge money. For a normal organization, multiple functions, you can go and write policy procedure. Okay, let me go ahead. Compliances with laws and regulation, I have talked about this. I have Mukesh here earlier, he had a tool called Legatrix. There are multiple of tools like that. So what we do is, see, and what you can do is, you can tell your client, कि multiple businesses you have, multiple location you have. Shop and Establishment Act in Karnataka is different and Gujarat is different. Saurabh, please come ahead. So there are so many of them, okay? Now all these regulations, what will happen? Whether the company is complying or not, छोटा भी client है ना, अपने को लगता है कि छोटा client है उसको कुछ पड़ी नहीं है. आप क्या करो? आप क्लाइंट के साथ में बैठो, बोलो चाय पीने को आना है. क्लाइंट को बिठा के समझाओ कि तुम्हारे बिजनेस में ये रेगुलेशन है और अगर ये नहीं कंप्लाई करोगे तो जेल जाना पड़ेगा. इतने लाख का पेनल्टी, इतने करोड़ का पेनल्टी, इतने रुपए का पेनल्टी. क्लाइंट को डराओ, धमकाओ. सॉरी, आई शुड नॉट यूज हिंदी. Educate your client in English. Are you with me? Go and educate your client what is applicable to him. In a manufacturing company, what are the various regulations? Can you quickly tell me? Factories Act and labor related PF, SIC and environment protection, sustainability is becoming big. Jitna chahiye utna kaam kar sakta hai. Very good. And hazards, etc. Okay, pollution, hazards, etc. Very good. And gratuity, payment of gratuity, leave encashment, etc. Very good. All employee related things. Excellent. And ESH, health safety. Okay. And Payment of Minimum Wages Act. Very good. And किसी ने लाइट मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट के बारे में सुना है? हेवी मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट के बारे में सुना है? कंपनी में ट्रक आएगा तो उसमें फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर होना चाहिए, नहीं है और वो फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर बरोबर नहीं है तो उसके ऊपर पेनल्टी है. हाँ, यस, ओके, वेरी गुड. फायर सेफ्टी नॉर्म्स. अगर रेस्टोरेंट है तो फूड लाइसेंस, लिकर है तो सम अदर लाइसेंस, हॉस्पिटल है तो अदर रिक्वायरमेंट्स. एवरी क्लाइंट हैज गॉट डिफरेंट रिक्वायरमेंट. In a manufacturing, have you heard about a cylindrical rule? 1700 कायदा है इंडिया में. सिलेंडर्स खड़ा रहता है, गोल होता है, इसके लिए चेन बांध के रखने का. चेन नहीं बांधा तो सिलेंडर गिर सकता है, उसके ऊपर आदमी गिरेगा, जान जाएगा, ऐसा कायदे में लिखा है, इसके लिए पेनल्टी है. So tell your client that you don't know which regulation is applicable to you. You buy a tool of a vendor which is a SaaS tool. ठीक है, सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस, उसके क्लाउड पे रहेगा, उसका सब्सक्रिप्शन दे दो नंबर ऑफ यूजर बेसिस पे. आई विल कम अंडरस्टैंड फॉर योर बिजनेस एंड द लोकेशन व्हाट इज एप्लीकेबल, व्हाट इज द ड्यू डेट फॉर पेमेंट, व्हाट इज द ड्यू डेट फॉर फाइलिंग ऑफ रिटर्न, हु इज द मेकर, हु इज द चेकर. आई कॉन्फिगर एवरीथिंग इनटू अ टूल एंड चार्ज यू मनी, एंड देन आई गो ऑफ. Then you keep on doing. And in case you want me to come and do a certificate quarterly, I'll do it. अगर समझो 500 करोड़ का क्लाइंट टर्नओवर है कंपनी का और 2 फैक्ट्री है, 5 डेपो है, तो ये पूरा कंप्लायंस कॉन्फ़िगर करने के लिए आप कितना फीस चार्ज करोगे? 20 लाख. आई एम सेइंग 10 लाख. चलो, एक क्लाइंट का 10 लाख, 12 महीने में 12 क्लाइंट करो, 1 करोड़ 20 लाख. टेंशन है. क्वार्टरली सर्टिफिकेट का कितना चार्ज करोगे? फिर भी लाख रुपीस. मैं बोलता हूं 50,000. साल का 2 लाख, 100 क्लाइंट हो गया तो 2 करोड़ रुपया. उतना टर्नओवर है क्या? Everyone is worried. The listed companies are worried. The board is worried. There are huge opportunities. If anyone tells me कि प्रैक्टिस नहीं है, काम नहीं है, धंधा नहीं है, तो ऐसे भाई तो आजा, 2 घंटे का सेशन लेता हूं मैं तेरे साथ में. There is so much work which is there. Are you with me? So, this was 100 series is got completed. Okay, compliance with laws and regulation. Okay, I'll go ahead. अभी तक ठीक है? समझ में आ रहा है? हाँ, नहीं? हाँ, okay. Am I too fast? Am I too slow? Slow, fast? ओके, ओके है. तो मेरे को ऐसा लगा कि 60% लोग आर नॉट इंटरनल ऑडिटर्स. तो रिस्क क्या है, कंट्रोल क्या है, गवर्नेंस क्या है, कंप्लायंस क्या है, इसके लिए आई वाज स्लो. ट्रेन में चल रहे थे, अभी थोड़ा फ्लाइट में उड़ेंगे. आई हैव टू इंक्रीज माई स्पीड, आई डोंट हैव टाइम. ओके, द पैनलिस्ट आर हियर. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट यू, सीट की पेटी बांध लो और उड़ने के लिए तैयार रहो. ओके, चलेगा? परफेक्ट. Let us go to then the 200 series. Guys, 200 series quickly, tuck, 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 we'll finish and then come and stop. Managing the internal audit function, 210. अगर आप in-house internal auditor हो, chief audit executive, तो आपको क्या देखना है कि have you prepared a risk-based IA plan? Have you got a board approval? Have you got an appointment letter? Have you seen which areas you are going to audit? Do you have so many people? Do you have that skill set? All of a sudden in your plan, one area comes. Which is like say IT security, data security, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing. You don't have the skills in-house, so you can go and appoint a third-party vendor. Your company is putting up a big factory and they want you to do the project audit. कि वो वेंडर ने बरोबर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के हिसाब से काम किया या नहीं, मोबिलाइजेशन, एडवांस, रिटेंशन, उतना सीमेंट लगाया कि नहीं, स्टील लगाया कि नहीं. यू मे नॉट हैव सिविल इंजीनियर इन योर टीम, so you can go to a third party contractor who can come and do the work for you. And there is one standard in this series only, that is the reliance on or working with the third party. But here again, see, documented IA process, getting all the audit evidences, etc., doing it on town-bound basis, monitoring execution, etc., etc. Let me go to the next one. Even before you go and do the audit, this standard talks about preparing an audit plan for 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. In an organization, and I am giving some name, and ऐसे ही नाम ले रहा हूँ मैं, टाटा पावर. टाटा पावर में ऑडिट यूनिवर्स बनाना तो क्या क्या ऑडिट हो सकता है? क्विकली, I'll bring the mic again. In HR, like I said, one can be learning and development, health, safety, well-being, payroll. वैसा फाइनेंस में क्या क्या हो सकता है?
सर टाटा पावर कौन से सेक्टर में है, पहले ये क्लियर करना पड़ेगा. वेदर दे आर इन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और जनरेशन, वेदर दे आर इन सोलर और कोल, गैस बेस. You should clear this, then I will define all things.
So sir is saying, understanding the industry, understanding the nature of business, there is a standard on that. अगर थर्मल है, कोयले से बना रहे तो अलग है, हाइड्रो है, पानी से बना रहे तो अलग है, सोलार पैनल लगा रहे तो अलग है, विंड टर्बाइन लगा रहे तो अलग है, उसमें वापस चेंज हो जाएगा. ठीक है, हो सकता है प्रोजेक्ट ऑडिट एक सब में रहेगा, ऑपरेशन और मेंटेनेंस सब में रहेगा. ठीक है, अगर पावर खाली जनरेशन है तो अलग बात है, पावर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है तो अलग बात है. किधर किधर मीटर से कितना कंज्यूमर है, किधर पावर का चोरी हो रहा है, revenue assurance on the whole process, how much power was generated, how much was billed, what is the gap, and how much is the transmission loss or some other loss. Okay, so thank you sir for touching that. But still, अभी इतना डिटेल में मैं नहीं जा रहा हूँ, चेंज कर देता हूँ, है ना. आई एम सेइंग कंस्ट्रक्शन बिजनेस, लोधा, बिल्डिंग, रेसिडेंशियल कंस्ट्रक्शन, वेयर हाउस भी नहीं. चलो, क्या क्या इन अ नॉर्मल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, व्हाट आर द वेरियस डिपार्टमेंट्स, व्हाट इन अ फाइनेंस टीम, विल यू डू अ कंप्लीट एंड टू एंड फाइनेंस ऑडिट और यू विल ब्रेक इट अप इनटू पीसेस क्विकली? मेरे पास टाइम कम है थोड़ा. यस प्लीज. रेवेन्यू एंड रिसीवेबल कैन बी वन, पेएबल्स, प्रोक्योर टू पे कैन बी वन. वेरी गुड. यस, यू सेइंग समथिंग. प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट, अगर प्रोजेक्ट कैपिटलाइजेशन टीम अलग है तो वेरी गुड. ट्रेजरी, कैश मैनेजमेंट इज वन. एक्सेलेंट सर. आई एम जस्ट कमिंग इन अ मिनट. ट्रेजरी, कैश मैनेजमेंट में अगर डिटेल में जाना है तो व्हाट विल यू कवर इन दैट ऑडिट? वॉट एवर कम्स टू माइंड. यस, सॉरी. Borrowed funds, borrowings, rate of interest, very good, and compare with others, very good, and letter of credit, bank guarantee, letter of credit given, letter of credit taken, bank guarantee given, bank guarantee taken. कौन ले रहा है, कितना रुपया ले रहा है? बैंक को बोला 5 करोड़ का एलजी दे दो, दे दिया. कल अगर नहीं करेगा तो 5 करोड़ कंपनी को भरना पड़ेगा, तो उसमें भी डेलीगेशन अथॉरिटी मैट्रिक्स. वेरी गुड. फंडिंग चार्जेस, बैंक चार्जेस कितना लगा, वो कैलकुलेशन कोई करता है क्या? वो करना चाहिए. यस सर. डेलीगेशन अथॉरिटी मैट्रिक्स, वेरी गुड. एंड डिप्लॉयमेंट ऑफ आइडल फंड्स, एक्सेलेंट. एंड ओके, इन्वेस्टमेंट पॉलिसी, अगर एक्स्ट्रा फंड है तो इन्वेस्टमेंट पॉलिसी, वेरी गुड. बैंकिंग मैनेजमेंट और ज़्यादा डिटेल में थोड़ा. वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. ऑथराइजेशन एक्सेट्रा. यस सर. हाँ, लोकल कंप्लायंसेस, हाँ, अच्छा, ठीक है, वेरी गुड. एंड रिस्क पॉलिसी, बैंकिंग गवर्नेंस. ओके. सी, पेटी कैश भी है ट्रेजरी कैश मैनेजमेंट में, कैश भी है, लेटर ऑफ क्रेडिट, बैंक गारंटी भी है, बैंक रिकन्सिलेशन भी है, हेजिंग भी है, फॉरेन करेंसी एक्सचेंज भी है, बोरोइंग भी है, फॉरेन करेंसी अकाउंट्स भी है. ट्रेजरी बाय इटसेल्फ इतना बड़ा है. रेवेन्यू रिसीवेबल अलग है, प्रोक्योर टू पे अलग है, वेयर हाउसिंग मैनेजमेंट अलग है, रिकॉर्ड टू रिपोर्ट अलग है, क्लोजिंग प्रोसेस. फिर फाइनेंस प्लानिंग, एनालिसिस, बजटिंग, forecasting, rolling forecast is a separate area. So in finance you can break it into 10. Procure, like HR I said, break it into this thing. So guys, In the organization where what is the nature of business, what is the nature of industry, उसमें क्या क्या audit हो सकता है, 40, 50, 60. That list is called the audit universe. Make the audit universe, then identify first, go and meet the C-suite, CEO, CFO, etc. Meet the audit committee board, take a key control question, ask them question, get their inputs. Look at the statutory auditor's report के qualification है या management letter में कोई डाला है क्या, वो कवर करो. उसके बाद ERM में रजिस्टर है तो उसमें कोई रिस्क है क्या, फ्रॉड रिस्क है क्या, फाइनेंशियल इम्पैक्ट कितना है, when was the last time audit done and what were the issues. Multiple factors can be taken on an impact and likelihood scale of 1 to 5. The processes can be rated and then you will come up with a list that this is high, this is medium, this is low. Now assuming in the 60 process, 10 are high, 20 are medium and 30 are low. Then in a way the standard says all high should be done once in a year, मतलब 10 करना ही है. Medium should be done once in 2 years, मतलब 20 में से 10 करना है. And low should be done once in 3 years, मतलब 30 में से 10 करना है. So which means 10, 10 and 10, 30 audits I have to do. Now I am a chief audit executive, 2 resource है. क्या करूँगा? सबसे पहली बात 52 सैटरडे संडे 104 दिन गया, फिर हॉलीडे, फिर ट्रेनिंग, और 365 में 250 दिन ही काम करता है. एक ऑडिट करने के लिए 30 दिन लगाता है, तो कितना ऑडिट करेगा बंदा? 8. 2 लोग मिलकर 16, 30 ऑडिट हो ही नहीं सकता है. तो विच वन टू ड्रॉप एंड विच वन टू डू? इफ यू आर एन आउटसाइड CA फर्म, यू गो टू अ कंपनी एंड से कि सर 30 ऑडिट करना है, एक ऑडिट का 4 लाख रुपया फीस, 1 करोड़ 20 लाख. बोलेगा भाई माफ कर, मेरा बजट 20 लाख है. होता है ऐसा आपके साथ में? 20 लाख का बजट है तो 4 ही ऑडिट करोगे 5 लाख में, और अपना रेट गिराओगे तो 3 लाख में करोगे. उससे कम तो क्या ही करोगे, फिर घर से देना पड़ेगा मोटा मोटा. लेकिन आप भले कर लो लाख रुपए में, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. ठीक है, आई एम सेइंग लाइक 3 लाख रुपीज एन ऑडिट, 4 ऑडिट 12 lakhs, 5 audit 15 lakh rupees. If I'm outside CA firm, I need to do 30. That is where you apply your mind, take the management judgment, go to the board audit committee, place it with them, let the board tell you and minute it in their minutes and give you an appointment letter. This is what we want you to do. Board is accepting the risk. Now guys, this is not easy. पहला कारों में clearly लिखा था, the internal audit should be commensurate with the nature and this thing of the business. Now it says, has the internal audit prepared a risk-based IA plan? Are they competent? Are they this? Are they that? Statutory auditor को भी 4 चीज पे आंसर देना है राइटिंग में, कारों के अंदर. मतलब ये प्रोसेस जो भी इंटरनल ऑडिटर है उसको स्ट्रीमलाइन करना पड़ेगा, एंड स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर को ऑडिट साइन करने के पहले देखना पड़ेगा. लेट मी गो अहेड. Every audit there should be an objective. You should also have an audit charter, mission, vision, etc. क्या करना चाहते हो, लेकिन audit के अंदर compliance to governance, regulation, XYZ, whatever. Okay. Let me go ahead. Using the work of an expert. Like I said, you are not expert. So you're using service of a civil engineer. You're using service of a IT security guy. What is your role as an audit head? आप ये बोल सकते हो कि मेरे को कुछ नहीं मालूम उसने क्या किया है, relying on a third party, I don't know anything. Can you do that? No. What will you will have to do?
आपको रिव्यू करना पड़ेगा हर चीज़.
रिव्यू करना पड़ेगा उसका काम. टेक्निकली कंपिटेंट नहीं हो, कैसे रिव्यू करूँ?
नहीं सर, आपको अंडरस्टैंड करना पड़ेगा. वो नहीं बोल सकते कि मैं टेक्निकल कॉम्पिटेंट नहीं.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you very much. And what else?
Ensure technical competencies while hiring.
Ensure that he is technically competent. Very good. And रेपिटेशन और एक्सपर्ट बैकग्राउंड चेक करोगे बंदे में दम है या नहीं. तो सर पहला तो स्कोप क्या है, उसको स्कोप समझाओ, उसको बोलो ये काम करना है, इवैल्यूएट करो उसको अक्ल है क्या, कर पाएगा क्या, फिर उसको एक एंगेजमेंट लेटर दो. उसके बाद उसको प्रोसेस ओनर से मीटिंग कराओ, इंश्योर कि उसको डेटा मिल जाए, उसको टाइम पे मिले, उसके साथ में लगे रहो, उसका रिपोर्ट रिव्यू करो, और फिर रिपोर्ट बोर्ड में जाएगा, और बोर्ड में आप खड़े रहोगे जवाब देने के लिए, वो नहीं. तो ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते थर्ड पार्टी कंफर्मेशन डेटास एंड क्रेडिटर्स चेक्ड बाय द प्रमोटर. जान नहीं छुट्टी. देयर इज एन एसे ऑन इंडिपेंडेंट थर्ड पार्टी कंफर्मेशन. गाइस, You need to send independent confirmation yourself for a tax audit. You cannot just write something in the notes and get away with it. Sorry. Same year. This is a standard on 240. 250, communication with those charged with governance of the company. Audit plan, placing it with the board, doing a risk-based IA plan, preparing an audit universe, going and sending an opening meeting memo, preparing minutes, preparing a draft report, getting management comments, preparing a final report. Everything is communication with those charged with governance of the company. Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir, I agree with you. एक माइक इधर दीजिए ना प्लीज. एक मेरे हाथ में ही रखो. हाँ, यस सर.
How do you schedule the audit? Because each, say if you are dealing in a project or you're dealing with separate geographies, we know in certain geographies a particular month is going out of it. So there are heavy peaks and troughs which come in an internal audit. It is not something that one generally looks at every quarter that you can give an audit. Certain places it is so difficult that if there is a heavy downpour or it really pours in that, a project audit in those sites is not possible. So in reality, apart from that, I just wanted to add one fact. When you are taking with the board or etc., a fact which needs to be pointed out is that what is the risk appetite which you are looking to do that. So bring it that this is the delta which may not come up on account of that. Because that is where at the end of the year, the CII literally, it is killing the messenger which happens in that case.
Yeah, I think very good input, sir. So, see again, I'll give a limited response and then I'll move ahead in the interest of time. Assuming I am a CA firm, then now what we are doing is, like, we'll have domain experts. Like in a manufacturing company, if I want to do or any industry, I want to do a media audit, I have a separate team. तो आज ये कंपनी में मीडिया ऑडिट फर्स्ट क्वार्टर में नहीं है तो दूसरा किधर, तीसरा किधर, चौथा किधर. I even do a procure material, packing material audit. There is an expert team. Someone who was working in a company in the procurement team buying packing material. Now he is part of my team. तो अगर पैकिंग मटेरियल ऑडिट मैंने प्लान किया या सोशल मीडिया ऑडिट मैंने प्लान किया तो आई ब्रिंग दोज एक्सपर्ट. एंड नॉर्मली इन अ क्लाइंट व्हाट आई डू इज आई कीप अ टीम लीडर और मैनेजर and one odd people, they will continuously do order to cash, fixed asset, bank reco. So there is a chance that sometimes that manager is not busy, he is then go to some other project. Because that time they will say, मेरा अभी तो closing हो रहा है, financial ये हो रहा है, तो मैं नहीं करूँगा. We try to do that. Okay. When there is an in-house audit team, again, they will keep on planning that way and kill to do. There are times in many organizations in India, you know, जैसा like board meeting ये हुआ तो first quarter normally अपना बैठ के जाता है. कुछ होता नहीं जब तक ऑडिट कमिटी प्लान अप्रूव नहीं करता है. सो आई थिंक एक्सेलेंट पॉइंट और वेरी रेलेवेंट पॉइंट विच यू रेज, बट अभी वील हैव टू लिव विद दैट फॉर द टाइम बीइंग. ओके, आर वी ओके विद दिस अप टिल योर 100 सीरीज 200 सीरीज. नाउ वी हैव मेड एन ऑडिट प्लान. एक ऑडिट प्लान बन गया है जिसके अंदर ये मालूम है कि ये बार प्रोक्योर टू पे ऑडिट करना है, सेल्स और रेवेन्यू करना है, कंप्लायंस विद रेगुलेशंस करना है. तो यू नो कि ये 4 या 8 और 10 ऑडिट यू वांट टू डू. प्लान इज डन, यू नो व्हाट इज रिस्क, व्हाट इज कंट्रोल, यू नो द इंडस्ट्री, यू नो द दिस थिंग, यू नो एवरीथिंग. ओके, सो नाउ व्हेन यू स्टार्ट द ऑडिट, व्हेन यू स्टार्ट द फर्स्ट ऑडिट, अगेन द फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड इज प्लानिंग. Then there is a standard on documentation, then there is a standard on evidence, then there is a standard on working paper, and then there is a standard on reporting of result. यही होना चाहिए. और उसके बाद 500 सीरीज में एक स्टैंडर्ड है आईटी एनवायरनमेंट. ठीक है, तो ये हम लोग पहला कवर करेंगे और फिर स्लाइड देख लेंगे पीसफुली. मतलब देन थैंक यू वेरी मच. ओके, सो गाइस, एंड मैं दो चीज़ को थोड़ा मिक्स कर रहा हूँ. हाउ मेनी पीपल डू public limited company audit and private limited company audit, statutory audit? अच्छा, very good. And of course कोई कोई क्लाइंट्स में आपने इंटरनल कंट्रोल और फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग भी किया रहेगा. किया है, very good. Before giving a report on ICOFAR, what is required? What should the client have? और इंटरनल कंट्रोल के अंदर क्या क्या होता है important? What are the 2 steps that you do?
First, we will ask for the risk control matrix that they have defined. We will walk through the process. We'll collect the document to ensure that the controls are in place and working effectively or not. We will put our observation whether those controls are effectively working, yes or no. If no, we will further evaluate what are the implication on the audit assertion that I am drawing on the financials, and accordingly I will conclude.
बहुत ज़्यादा बात कर लिया आपने तो. Does every client have a risk control matrix?
No.
नहीं. So he is saying that design is important and then testing the operating effectiveness. Design is procure to pay process ka risk and control matrix. Step by step, what is the process, what is the risk, what is the control, what is the key control, whether the control is preventive or detective, automated or manual, XYZ assertions, that whole format. कितने लोगों ने RCM देखा है? 50%, 30, 40% ने RCM देखा है. नया organization है, if ICOFA is applicable for the first time, then you will have to prepare the list of all the processes and go and make RCMs for them. And again, it can be 10 lakhs to 30, 40, 50 lakh rupees fees. Now, the testing which we are doing, if I am not a statutory auditor, is on behalf of the management. The management has to ensure that there is a design and the management has to take sample and do the testing. And while doing the testing, the management has to give a comfort that everything is fine, then only the statutory auditors come. So at times the manager, either the management tells the internal auditor, firm or inside team, or they appoint an extra firm to go and do the testing, picking up the sample and doing the testing. This is process controls. Then there is a IT control, and then there is an entity level environment control. Okay, these are 4 things which get covered in a normal testing of an internal control over financial reporting. Now there are 2 things. One, which we'll quickly touch, and then we'll go to the other one. First is the sampling, and second one is then going to the internal control over financial reporting where there is no RCM. If I forget, remind me. Tax audit कितने लोग करते हैं इधर? How many people do tax audit? थोड़ा हाथ ऊपर करेंगे तो मजा आएगा. I think everyone must be doing. Very good. How do you select sample? How many sample do you take? एक माइक वो बाजू देना, एक माइक इधर है, मैं जल्दी आया माइक लेके. Sample. Start with
Based
you.
on the materiality, sir.
Huh?
Materiality.
I don't understand what is materiality. अच्छा English word है.
So, if I talk about the 269 SST, I would see the highest amount of being loan.
269 SSC लोन टेकन गिवन में बड़ा वाला लोन लेंगे. कितना? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रोक्योर टू पे. सिंपल रखते हैं. या ऑर्डर सेल्स के अंदर कितना सैंपल लेने का है? यस प्लीज. Someone said daily. I am coming to you in a minute.
I will take the customer master number of sales value based on the quantity. We select the number of customer to be selected for verification.
नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर, लेकिन कितना? इंग्लिश नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 500 कस्टमर है, कितना लोगे? 5 या 10?
So percentage may be varied, but depends on the number of
स्टैंडर्ड में ऐसा
sales.
लिखा है?
No.
अच्छा, ओके. 20% someone said? 20,000 अगर परचेज बिल है तो 25%, मतलब 5,000 परचेज बिल 100% चेक करेंगे. 25 सैंपल. वेरी गुड. इज इट रिटन इन द स्टैंडर्ड? ओके, वेरी गुड. यस सर. हाँ, ओके, वेरी गुड. Someone talked about frequency or something.
Another part comes up in entity level controls where you do test of one also in IT systems.
Right. So the sampling standard SA, standard on auditing, which is applicable for tax audit and company audit, private limited, public limited, and the SIA here talks about selecting of samples. Okay. Now when you talk about selecting of sample, assuming it is a purchase to pay, procure to pay organization, and there are 20,000 invoices. Now the standard says frequency of control. अगर yearly control है तो 1 sample. Monthly control is the minimum 2, maximum 3. Daily recurring control is the minimum 25, maximum 40. What is the daily recurring control? Petty cash voucher, bank payment, cash payment, PR, PO, GRN. These are all daily recurring. Minimum 25, maximum 40. This is prescriptive. बुखार है, पैरासीटामोल खाओ. ये सबको नहीं चलेगा, आपकी कंपनी के लिए आपको अलग करना पड़ेगा. If I am a CA firm, I say if my client's turnover is 10 crores, I'll select 50 sample. And if my client's turnover is 10 to like say 50 crores or 100 crores, then I'll select 100 samples. Now in those 100, I'll select 50 judgmental, 50 statistical. Okay. Now someone said high value, someone said this. Is it statistical sampling? No, this is all judgmental sampling. Okay. So what is the statistical sampling? पढ़ा था बहुत पहले, कुछ यंग लोगों ने अभी रिसेंटली पढ़ा था. अगर 20,000 परचेस POs इशू किया है एंड 50 सैंपल उठाना है तो 20,000 डिवाइड बाय 50, द नंबर विल बी 400, nth number. The first random number is 3. Then the second will be 403, 803, 1203, 1603, which means the PO number 3, 403, 803, 1203 will have to be selected and the whole test of compliance will have to be done. Now, if you have done that, then what happens is कि 404 नंबर के PO में कुछ गड़बड़ है वो वेंडर में, या 405 में कुछ गड़बड़ है तो you are safe. You can say कि boss, I have selected statistically, these are the POs selected, this is what I checked. Because in your report you are writing that on the basis of test check and sample. Compliance to SA. Now what is required? It is required that in your working paper you have a paper, purchase vouching flap. उसमें पहला page ABC Limited audit for the year ended 31st March. Total population 20,000 PO. Sample selected 100. 50 statistical, 50 random. The first nth number is 3, second is 403, 803. What did you select has to be documented. ये 50 हो गया. जो अगला 50 हाई वैल्यू, हाई प्राइस, ये वेंडर, ये प्रमोटर का रिलेटिव है. ऑन व्हाट बेसिस दैट यू नीड टू राइट. विच 50, 100, 25 you selected, you need to document. Work not documented is work not done. Okay. अगर ग्रीन टिक मारा है पूरा फाइल पे, पीयर रिव्यू में या डिसिप्लिनरी कमेटी में पूछेगा क्या चेक किया सर, 100% चेक किया, फिर ये फ्रॉड कैसे हो गया, तो बोलो सर नहीं मालूम है. ठीक है. You do good work, but you don't document, and that is the reason you get penalties. Now peer review, then disciplinary, then NAFRA. Okay, it is very, very important. आपने देखा रहेगा, I am coming to you in a minute. आपने देखा रहेगा recently WhatsApp के ऊपर था. Someone had given a qualified report. Some other firm got appointed, they removed the qualification. The firm got 3 crore rupees penalty. Signing partner 1 crore penalty, quality assurance partner 1 crore penalty. And everywhere the whole report, 100 pages kept on saying non-compliance to SA, non-compliance to SA, non-compliance to SA. No sample selected, no documentation. Why did you remove the qualification? There was nothing to prove, there was no evidence in the working paper. Okay. Sampling I touched, sir, I am coming to you in a minute. Please hold. Internal control over financial reporting. Someone said RCM नहीं होता है. Guys, there are 2 guidance note. बड़ा कंपनी के लिए अलग guidance note है, जिधर RCM का डिज़ाइन देखना है, टेस्टिंग देखना है, सैंपल लेना है और उसके बाद आपको अपना रिपोर्ट देना है. छोटी कंपनीज के लिए अगर RCM नहीं है तो आपको पेपर बना के लिखना है कि वो लोग क्या प्रोसेस फॉलो करते हैं और वो प्रोसेस सब सैंपल में रिपीटेडली स्टैंडर्ड प्रोसेस फॉलो हुआ या नहीं हुआ है. अगर आप ये प्रोसेस नहीं लिखते हो और आप वो सब सैंपल के लिए वो कंप्लायंस प्रोसेस का नहीं देखते हो तो देन यू विल बी एट फॉल्ट, you would be negligent in your duty. That is a word the standard uses. Okay. Let me come to you and then I'll go to one small example quickly and I'll close it. Okay. Sir, sorry.
So sampling, what happened was that there was the internal audit report presented to the audit committee, and the internal auditor had actually written, let's say he was doing vendor audit. So he had said out of 1,000 vendors, I've selected sample of 50. So one of the audit committee members said that this seems less, why only 50? So can this standard actually sort of help in replying to the audit committee wherever the number of samples selected is questioned?
You touched a point which is very close to my heart. And I should not be saying it, but I am saying it. I feel the sampling standard should be scrapped. Because there is a new standard on analytic procedure. And as a auditor, I am required to comply with that as well. Which means what, sir? I'll understand the nature of business. I'll understand whether it is SAP, Oracle, Tally, Microsoft. I'll take the whole dump, 1,20,000, 30,000, and check PR date on PO date, PO date and GRN date, GRN quantity, PO quantity, on the whole population. I write queries on split PO. Sir ka limit है 50 lakh. I go to him with a proposal of 55 lakhs. Sir says आज 45 lakh का PO ले ले, कल 10 lakh का और देता हूँ. So I say from the same user to same vendor, pick up everything, match with the authority matrix table, 20% variation, give me a table. I press a refresh, table comes, I start my audit from there. I got 300 queries in my organization, procure to pay 70 queries. Now coming to your point, sorry. If the audit committee says increase sample, I think to get comfort they can tell you that. But you can always tell them that this is a standard. The standard says frequency of control is daily recurring and hence minimum 25, maximum 40, I have done 50. So I have complied with the standard. But now if you want me to do more, I will do it. How many? Tell me. But which means I'll need more time to give you that assurance, and which means I'll have to drop some other audit from my plan. Because resource मेरे पास उतना ही है. I think that you can always say. And of course, you are doing on the basis of the standard. So negligence of duty ये वो का सवाल नहीं उठता है. ठीक है? अगर सैंपल लिया है, कौन सा सैंपल सेलेक्ट किया है, कैसे सेलेक्ट किया है, डॉक्यूमेंट करके काम किया है, तो कोई टेंशन नहीं है. Okay, let us take a very easy, quickly sale process in a manufacturing company. Sale process के अंदर कैसे चालू होता है? सबसे पहला क्या होना चाहिए सेल के अंदर? Inquiry from your customer. Okay. Then order. Okay. हर बार ऑर्डर बरोबर आ जाता है, राइटिंग में आता है, मेल पे आता है, फोन पे आता है, कैसे आता है ऑर्डर आपके क्लाइंट्स में?
मेल पे आता है, ईमेल पे.
ईमेल पे आता है सबके उधर ऑर्डर. छोटे क्लाइंट में तो ऑर्डर ही नहीं है. बोलो ना यार, मैं ही बोलूँगा सब कुछ. ऑर्डर ही नहीं है तो चेक क्या करूँ सर? बरोबर है. अच्छा, तो कुछ तो चेक करना पड़ेगा ना. ऑर्डर नहीं है, चलो मान लिया. फिर ऑर्डर के बाद क्या?
सेल्स इनवॉइस.
सेल्स इनवॉइस. ओके. इनवॉइस के ऊपर एक्नॉलेजमेंट होता है. आई एम कमिंग टू यू. इनवॉइस के ऊपर एक्नॉलेजमेंट होता है क्या कि कस्टमर को माल मिल गया, कस्टमर का बंदा आके लेके जाता है कि आप पहुंचाते हो, क्या करते हो? राइट. क्या टर्म्स है वो डिपेंडेंट है, लेकिन जब भी माल मेरे ट्रांसपोर्टर ने पहुंचाया, उसका बंदा लेके गया, तो कोई एक्नॉलेजमेंट लेते हो कि नहीं लेते हो? डिलीवरी चलान, अभी तो डिलीवरी चलान नहीं है. पहला वैट के टाइम पे LR लॉरी रिसिप्ट चाहिए था, अभी लॉरी रिसिप्ट भी नहीं है, लेकिन ई इनवॉइस है. लेकिन फिर भी कोई फॉर्म ऑफ एक्नॉलेजमेंट कस्टमर होना चाहिए कि नहीं? होता है नहीं होता है? होता है नहीं होता है? कोई बोलता है वो भी नहीं होता है. वो माल दे दिया, कस्टमर के पास कोई स्टैम्प साइन नहीं है, एक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं है, तो मालूम नहीं. इफ यू कैन पास ऑन द माइक देयर. ओके.
Actually, sir, the first starting point in sales audit should be a formal standard operating procedure of order to cash process, basically, which actually a guiding document that what is the roles and responsibility of different individuals in sales process.
Okay. Thank you. I think that is also a good input. Policy procedure तो होना ही चाहिए. So, in the interest of time, I am not coming to you. I'll close it quickly. Time कम है मेरे पास. See. एक क्लाइंट है छोटा वाला, 10 crore rupees is a sale, one customer 5 crore rupees sale. The outstanding from the customer is whole 5 crore rupees at the year end. ठीक है. क्लाइंट सेज ऑर्डर तो फोन पे आता है सर, माल दिया उसका एक्नॉलेजमेंट वो भी नहीं है. वेरी गुड. बिल गया, उसने एक्नॉलेज किया नहीं. लेजर रिकंसिलेशन किया क्या? नहीं. थर्ड पार्टी इंडिपेंडेंट कंफर्मेशन बेचा क्या? वो भी नहीं. इज द डिजाइन देयर और देयर इज नो डिजाइन एट ऑल इन द सेल प्रोसेस? देयर इज नो डिजाइन. यू हैव टू राइट इन योर ICOFR रिपोर्ट. इज इट ऑपरेटिंग अफेक्टिवली? डिजाइन ही नहीं है तो ऑपरेटिंग किधर अफेक्टिवली है? अभी इसके ऊपर 6 महीने के ऊपर का प्रोविजन करना था, प्रोविजन भी नहीं किया, और आपसे झगड़ रहा है कि प्रोविजन नहीं करूंगा, राइट ऑफ तो नहीं करूंगा, प्रोविजन भी नहीं करूंगा. विल यू क्वालिफाई, विल यू नॉट क्वालिफाई? कांट हियर. you will have to do some form of qualification, right? Now again, you go to that 700 series essay, थोड़ी इंटरनॉइड में ऐसे वैसे पे जंप कर रहा हूँ थोड़ा सा, ठीक है. पहला है those charged with governance of company, communicate. This is not this. Key audit matter, कुछ नहीं समझता है तो notes में देता हूँ. This is not this. Emphasis of matter, this is not emphasis of matter. Then 700, whether a modification, adverse opinion or disclaimer. This is not disclaimer. Disclaimer क्या है? कुछ मालूम नहीं, record नहीं मिला, समझता नहीं है, disclaimer. Is it a adverse or is it a qualified? That is materiality. 10 करोड़ में 5 करोड़ 6 महीने का प्रोविजन नहीं हुआ है, आएगा क्या नहीं मालूम नहीं, एक्नॉलेजमेंट भी नहीं है, बिल भी नहीं है, ऑर्डर भी नहीं है, शायद पैसा डूबने वाला है. Then you decide whether it is a what, right, modified or adverse. So guys, that is where it is. But while doing internal control over financial reporting, the ICAI guidance note says that you need to document this process. के ऑर्डर जब भी है फोन पे आता है, मेल पे आता है, लेकिन someone writes in a register, then they give to the warehouse and the warehouse dispatches material. On dispatch, someone takes an acknowledgement stamp. After the acknowledgement, when the bill goes on a regular basis, confirmation goes on mail. And at the year end, the client has confirmed with the ledger कि हाँ मेरे को इतना payable है. Then once you write that, then you see for all the 30 sample. And if it is working for all 30 sample, that means you are good. Okay. So that is where we are in internal control over financial reporting and in this one. Now, one last thing, I'll take the questions again at the end, but I'll quickly now complete the slide because I'm over the time now. Last.
See, one perspective here, like we discussed, and all audits everywhere we discuss about the sampling and this thing. One perspective here, like nowadays.
Milind, why don't you come ahead, Milind? Come here.
Nowadays, many of the data is in the bulk, like in a digital mode. So why still we are insisting on 25 samples and giving assurance? Like if you are able to vouch for all 100% data or throughout the period, then shall this not be considered from the perspective of enhancing your review and giving a larger assurance on the process as well as effectiveness?
So I think I covered that aspect of it a little while back. And there is also a standard, we'll talk about 500 on the IT environment, an analytic procedure within the new standard. Welcome, Nitin bhai. In the new standard, there's a complete standard on analytic procedures, and I'm sure someday ICAI will have to move there. Abhi hai, kya thought process hai, we'll have to see and we'll have to move. Okay. Now, quickly, so 310, planning the intern-audit assignment. If you are doing order to cash, tally environment है, order है या नहीं है, acknowledgement है या नहीं है, understand the whole process, understand the client's environment, and then decide how many sample, what will you select, what will you check. काफ़ी डिटेल में बात किया, I am now stopping here. Internal control evidence. Now, if I am going and saying कि like a certain material was purchased at a rate which was available higher than the market rate, so then at what price did they purchase? 100 rupees kg. If it is available at 90, 95, then Google evidence, whatever, किधर से कुछ ना कुछ जो चाहिए in the file. You cannot just hear from someone and say something. So any observation that you give, that observation will have to be backed by sufficient evidence. Okay? That is what is evidence in statutory audit or internal audit. Internal control documentation. This sales process which I talked about, the whole process which you are documenting, contracts with parties, third party confirmation, bank balance confirmation, agreements, anything and everything is a documentation that you put in your file. पहले फाइल में डालते थे, अभी सॉफ्ट कॉपी होता है, कितने लोग के मेल में होता है, एम्प्लॉय छोड़ के चला जाता है तो इट इज नॉट अवेलेबल. Do you have a common drive? Do you have a folder for every audit? Do you upload everything there? Can it be accessible when you want? If a court case happens, will the client ask for it? Will you be able to provide? You will have to provide that. Okay, at least for a period of 7 years, if not more. Review and supervision. It very clearly says that like in an organization, if there are multiple partners, or whenever a team is doing work, then there should be a team lead or manager reviewing the work. Then there should be a supervision is a team lead or manager. The review is by the partner. Then there should be partner, some other partner reviewing my work and I reviewing his work. That way, if there are multiple partners in a firm. And then, of course, it also talks about external check by an external firm. And now there is a new standard on that external check, quality assurance review. So there is a new standard in the new 16 which has come there. Now, in an organization, they should have a mechanism where they say like how many samples, whether they were selected, whether there was an audit plan XYZ. This will help you wherever there is an auditor who is coming for CARO and asking for those information. Now, if your firm wants to do a peer review, then it will ask for it. If it is an in-house internal function, then they will have to do a quality assurance review once in 3 or 5 years. That time they will need everything. Communication with management. Again, this is more to do with the audit report. When you give the observation, you go and talk to the lowest guy, then you go to a team manager, then you finalize a draft, send it to them, get their input, okay, finalize everything, then you send the final report. The draft report is very, very important. It should be there in your working paper and all the communication should be there. Generally, in an observation, when we go to the next one, reporting results. When we go to reporting results, now people don't give Excel, people don't give annexures, people don't give a large word report. People generally give a PowerPoint. एक observation का एक slide, कितनी companies में वैसा है. What should be? मतलब, the thing is कि like provision should have been done for more than 180 days. What is? In a certain case, we notice that although the amount of so and so in 5 debtors was more than 6 months, not provided for. So what? So उसका implication क्या है? Non-provision and hence resulting more profit, whatever. Payment of tax, TDS liability, whatever. What is? क्या होना चाहिए process या regulation में? क्या हो रहा है? अगर वो नहीं हुआ या wrong हो रहा है तो what is the impact? उसके बाद your recommendation के क्या करना चाहिए management ने? Management recommendation, then management's answer, and then the person who will do it and the date by which it will be done. Now, you write that third party confirmation was not there. And the management in the comments says that all confirmation was sent and given to the auditor. Or all confirmation was sent. That means there is a conflict. So you cannot say that it is not there and they will say there is there. You will have to sit, communicate, resolve. This is not a good report to go to the board. You may say that हर ATM में कैमरा लगा दो या security guard खड़ा दो. Management बोलता है उतना पैसा नहीं है. But you still feel it as a risk. Then you can give it in the end. Management accepting risk, where the management does not give comment. So, while you are taking an engagement letter and the company tells you, okay, don't touch this plant, then it is scope exclusion. It should be in the engagement letter. While you are doing an HR audit, but you select a sample of a VP or CFO, and the company says, CFO तो बहुत बड़ा आदमी नहीं देंगे. बोलो सर फाइल घर पे नहीं चाहिए, साथ में बैठ के देखता हूँ HR टीम में. बोला नहीं उधर भी नहीं देखता है, confidential है. Scope restriction, write in your report. If there is an observation but the client does not want to accept that and does not want to give you management comment, scope limit अपना management accepting risk, वो observation last में रहेगा एक अलग section में. और normal के अंदर management will have to give the comments and a name and a date. Are you with me? 370 है. 380 is another standard now, new one, issuing a assurance report. I was little worried when I was reading both of them. दोनों में English same है, मेरे को समझा नहीं कौन सा किधर applicable है. I called up the internal standard board, spoke to them, spoke to the chairman, vice chairman of the committee also. They are struggling now. I have given my feedback in writing. But nature of assurance 110 किसको applicable है? Reporting result 370 किसको लगेगा? 380 किसको लगेगा? So 19 and 16, 35 is becoming a little confusion. In a normal audit universe, ERM is part of my audit. They have given a separate standard now. Budget, planning, financing is a part of my universe. They have given a separate standard now. So I think they will go through that revision and they will change. But unfortunately, when it was in public domain, people did not give comments. The next one is monitoring the reporting of prior period items. मतलब यहाँ पे ये है कि जितना भी observations आप देते हो, recommendation देते हो, तो वो recommendations का follow up करना है. हर audit committee में जाके आपको एक audit committee presentation डालना है कि how many audits planned, how many done, how many pending, how many work in progress, how many observations you gave, whether they were high, medium, low, whether they are being done or not. 30 June was deadline, is it getting extended? An extension of deadline cannot be done by the management. It has to go to audit committee, they have to approve. Let me go ahead. 500 series, दो ही standard है, close कर देंगे. IT environment. So again, and understanding whether it is Tally, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, understanding what are the tables, what is the data, doing data analytics, that is important now in every organization. In the new standard, they have come up with one standard where they are saying skills and qualification. And there they are saying that the internal auditor should acquire skills of analytics. And to be very quickly, Excel is also analytics tool. Macros, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP is also. उसके बाद next level will be either a Python database or otherwise SQL or R. Tableau के अंदर dashboards. Power query is very good. Power queries अभी अपना advanced IT team में हम लोग बच्चे लोग को भी सिखा रहे हैं, सीखना चाहिए. And we should write queries and run it on our own. But if you want an off-the-shelf product, then there is an IDEA, HCL, etc. IDEA, again, ICAI has signed up contract with Casper Canada. One-time fee 60,000 and yearly renewal fees 20,000. वो ले लो, वीडियोस भी है, क्वेरीज भी है, आप अपने एनवायरनमेंट में रन कर सकते हो, ठीक है. आई एम नॉट सेलिंग आइडिया, बट आई एम टेलिंग यू कि दिस इज अवेलेबल. देर आर टूल्स अवेलेबल फॉर कीपिंग योर वर्किंग पेपर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, फॉर राइटिंग अ रिपोर्ट. देर आर टूल्स अवेलेबल फॉर गिविंग एन लाइक assurance, and there is a process mining tool like Salon is also, which is available. I have less time, so I need to rush it off. Okay, 5:30. Again, one very interesting opportunity. Everyone has a bank account here. बैंक अकाउंट है सबका. जो भी बैंक में आप बैंकिंग करते हो, आपका क्रेडिट कार्ड बैंक खुद नहीं बनाता है, कोई वेंडर बनाता है. इफ़ यू टेकन अ कार लोन एंड डोंट रीपे, समवन कम्स टू टेक योर कार बैक. इफ यू डोंट पे अ हाउसिंग लोन, समवन कॉल्स यू अप. देयर आर दीज वेरियस एजेंसी. RBI टेल्स अ बैंक दैट you identify, select various vendors, pick them up and do an audit, third-party vendor audit, and give a report to RBI directly. Normally, banks pay 20 lakhs to 50, 60 lakh rupees for this assignment. But then a proprietor will not get. You will have to have a partner, 4-partner firm, 1 crore turnover, 5 crore turnover. There are a lot of empanelment available on RBI, IRDA, National Stock Exchange, BSC, etc. You will need to make larger firms, go and empanel, get this work. But again, here, so when you are doing a third-party work, what is that you are doing? How will you do it? What is the engagement letter? What is the physical control? What is the entity level control? What are the IT controls there? You will have to check everything at every of these parties and give a report then. That is what it talks about. I think all the existing standards I am done with. Maybe 1 or 2 questions I can take. I am already 2, 3, 4 minutes above my time. But happy to take a couple of questions.
Sir, today AI is a buzzword. So how do we use AI in internal audit?
See, difficult question, but I'll try to give you a short answer in the interest of time. So like, if I were to tell you about my firm, I would divide it, like I'll divide my analytics into 4 pieces. One is the internal data analytics. Okay. I got about 60 queries for a procure to pay. PR date versus PO date, GRN quantity versus PO quantity, ये तो है ही. टोटल परचेस में एक आइटम के अंदर कितने वेंडर से एक वेंडर से कितना लिया है, ठीक है, कितने वेंडर्स को ड्यू डेट के पहला पेमेंट दिया है, कितने वेंडर्स को आफ्टर ऑफिस आवर्स मटीरियल, मतलब मटीरियल इशू अगर इन्वेंट्री है तो आफ्टर ऑफिस आवर्स किया है, किसी को छुट्टी के दिन पेमेंट किया है. स्प्लिट PO, like I said, while a PO is raised, it will pick up the item code, go to the vendor master, who are the vendors selling those items, see what is the rate and give me a table. कि PO was issued at 9 rupees, but a vendor was available with 850. So lowest price को नहीं दिया था. And I start my audit there. Second is external data के साथ में mapping. Like I said, परिवहन portal के साथ में mapping, right? EPFO के साथ में mapping, DIN database, PAN database, all of those GSTN. So this is it. Second, third, image analytics. आज I am in Ahmedabad. I am staying in maybe a particular Taj Vivanta. Next time when I come, I submit my invoice. अभी थोड़ी physically कोई भेजता है courier से. Next time when I come, I stay at my colleague's house. But I still send a Xerox copy by changing the bill number and date. So the moment that document goes inside, it will match with all the documents in the database and tell you how much percent match, 98, 99% match, which fields were edited using which tool and on which date. Because we use pixel technology. So travel and expense claim में हम लोग हजारों ऐसा पकड़ते हैं, ठीक है. ट्रांसपोर्ट लॉजिस्टिक क्लेम में हम लोग पकड़ते हैं. अभी कितनी जगह पे क्या हुआ कि लाइक एक फार्मा कंपनी है, मंथ ऑन मंथ दे वे पेइंग कमीशन टू डॉक्टर्स. वी डिड अ पेनी ड्रॉप, 1 रुपया डाला सब अकाउंट के अंदर, मालूम पड़ा 30% और नॉट डॉक्टर्स. they were employees or employees relatives. जैसे बैंक में पैसा जाएगा, बैंक के साथ में मोबाइल और मोबाइल से नाम मिल जाता है, ठीक है. सिमिलरली एक फार्मा कंपनी में बोला 100 लोगों का बिल लगाया, 100 लोग थे, वीडियो इमेज निकाला तो उधर 60 ही हेड थे. एक बार एक फोटो दिया, दूसरी बार दूसरा फोटो दिया. इट लुक्स एट द बैकग्राउंड, कलर, लाइट एक्सेट्रा एंड टेल्स यू दिस आर बोथ सेम फोटो ऑफ द सेम इवेंट ऑन द सेम डे. दैट इज वीडियो एनालिटिक्स. थिएटर के अंदर कितना ग्लास कोल्ड ड्रिंक का दे रहा है और कितना पॉइंट ऑफ सेल में बिल बन रहा है, दैट इज वीडियो एनालिटिक्स. Any video image, any unstructured data can be converted into structured and then you can do analytics and give your report. लोग कर रहे हैं, नहीं करोगे तो you will not be able to survive if you are in practice. If you are in industry, you will have to adopt. Then only your audit committee will acknowledge your work. And if you are in practice, then you have to adopt faster. I hope I answered your question. Yes, please. Last one or one odd we can take and then maybe we'll stop. Niro bhai. एक के बे.
What is the best way to audit the moonlighting compliance?
Moonlighting, again the same
That's
thing.
an internal, anyway, it's an internal policy of a company to not allow. So what's the best way to
See, limited hai.
control?
First thing, you take all the employee number, their EPFO number and see in the EPFO who is depositing PF. अगर दो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डाल रहा है मतलब दो जगह पे काम कर रहा है. अभी एम्प्लॉय स्मार्ट होएगा तो एक जगह से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेगा, एक जगह पे प्रोफेशनल फीस लेगा, तो आप नहीं पकड़ पाओगे, ठीक है. और वर्क फ्रॉम होम है तो नहीं हो पाएगा. उसका बेस्ट कंट्रोल है सबको ऑफिस बुलाओ वापस, खत्म, ठीक है. वर्क फ्रॉम होम बंद करना पड़ेगा, दैट इज द बेस्ट कंट्रोल अकॉर्डिंग टू मी. बट अभी EPFO वाला एक है और मेरे ध्यान में कुछ नहीं है, बट आई एम श्योर यू कैन आस्क द पैनल, द एक्सपर्ट्स विल बी एबल टू टेल यू इफ देयर समथिंग एल्स कम्स टू योर माइंड इन द नेक्स्ट पैनल. सो एनीथिंग एल्स? Done? Great. Thank you very much.
It's my immense pleasure to give a vote of thanks to CA Murtuza Kachwala, sir. Thank you, sir, for showering us a knowledge on us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.